Okay, ABDC faithful, what's going on? It's your boy Tune the Dancer, aka Ant M. Drake Week, not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I set my sights up here, and it was still good. It kind of reached. I mean, I don't really think any of the crews really did like horrible. I can't think of any crew that did horrible. I mean, it was actually a pretty good show. Anyway, let's get into it here. My song choices were horrible. If you saw my preview, I didn't get pretty much anything right. But we'll get into that later. Anyway, let's start off. So they announced the crews that are going, and finally now only one crew goes home. So after that little cheap shot from Madonna Week. Anyways, let's go ahead and start this out here. Rate the Next Generation is saved first. They got too many freaking fans. I mean, I like them and all, but they got too many freaking fans. Their Madonna performance was pretty good, but anyway, let's get into it. They actually get HYFR, which is a song that I never really even heard of. I kind of knew somebody was gonna get it, but for the sake of it, I just said, nah, nobody's gonna get it. But Rated Next Generation gets it. Um, I like the challenge on what they're trying to do. Apparently, everybody's trying to come in with a lyric that Drake did, and they're trying to pick out a lyric and bring it onto the stage. So I can't remember what RNG. I can't remember any of the lyrics. I'm not that big of a Drake fan, but I know his music pretty well. So, anyway, RNG, they get something about rewind time and go back to the past, or something crazy like that. I see we've seen the rewind thing a couple of times, but nobody's ever done it really that well. I mean, I know Fish and Chicks kind of screwed it up in season one. Poreotics did an okay job, but they were really stationary in it. So Rated Next Generation, they come out in the camo and stuff like that, looking like Little Street Kingdom, I guess. Except they don't crump for nothing. But anyway, the performance in general was actually a good start to the show. Like, I mean, that's the one thing that I realized, that we have some pretty good starts to episodes as of late. I did kind of like the whole military thing. They kind of did a whole, like they were marching and stuff like that. I mean, it got a little lame after a while, but for the most part, I kind of like where they were kind of going for. The challenge where they were kind of rewinded it back was amazing. They did this like salute trust fall, and then went into like part of the choreo, and then they went right back to it and did the trust fall again. And I mean, they did a really good job of rewinding time. So I mean, this is the first time I actually think Rated Next Generation kind of killed it on pretty much almost all accounts there. But good job, ladies and gentlemen. Second crew to be saved is Most Wanted. If anybody, once again, is still surprised that they got saved, you might be semi-idiotic. But, that's neither here nor there. Anyways, this is the only song that I got right. I knew they were gonna, because they're gonna keep on getting the hottest song that is out from that artist, and so they get the motto. Well, like big whoop. I'm not surprised. I'm not, falling over my seat. Oh my God, they're gonna do the motto. Whatever. The only thing I'm kind of praying for is that they switch up from Lando's choreography, and from what I know, that from what it looks like, they did a pretty good job of doing that. Anyway, they take some kind of weird lyric about a relay or something crazy like that, and they go out and do the thing. Dietrich is absolutely right. This was the weakest Most Wanted performance I think I'd ever seen, and the only explanation I have for it is they got too overzealous. I think they were just too gung ho to get this performance, because this is one of the first songs that they've gotten where they actually would perform to something like the motto. They would. And I mean, it wasn't a bad performance at all. Not by any means. I guess they set the bar kind of high for themselves. And when they get a song that they're actually more suitable to dance to, it just wasn't that great. Um, Even though the choreo wasn't the best, yeah, there's moments I could pick out, especially that whole jump in. They did this weird jump spin where Lando was in the front, and I know this is his thing, because that's a move that only he would do. But I mean, even though the choreo was not what I expected and what I wanted it to be, the swag was on 100,000 trillion. Like their swag was amazing. Like, but I mean, I'd expect it from that group, but you know, their swag was cool. Like, and they even hit that little B cooking step, which was really funny because I you know I thought that might have been more of a Step Boys thing or more of a Collision thing, but no, Most Wanted actually hit it. So, I thought the challenge was weak though. That whole relay thing was terrible. But not their best performance. Still a good performance. Episode is still a win for me right now. So next up is 8 Flavors. Now, before I review 8 Flavors, let me get some things off the water here because this is kind of a tread lightly situation because you know everybody knows that Angel Gibbs' mother was hospitalized before the taping. Actually, the day of taping, Angel Gibbs' mother passed away. So I can tell that that was kind of a hard pill to swallow. And before I, go ahead and review this group for 8 Flavors, I just want to sit back and say my condolences. I kind of want to talk about the performance, but it's a touchy subject. So before I do this, this is not a hate thing. This is nowhere close. I understand the situation. The performance was not that good. It was, and this is with a good explanation. There's a good reason why the performance was not, why the choreo wasn't that great, and why the stunts weren't really well thought of, and it's because their mind was in another place, and it had to be in another place. This is something that I can accept, and this is something that I can back them up on. They weren't thinking about the performance. They were thinking about Angel's mom. They were thinking about Angel's mom, and I can understand and I can agree with that. While I didn't think the choreo and the stunts were all that great, and just to let you know, they did perform to "Find Your Love," but even if I don't think the performance was the most put together, the passion was phenomenal. That was off the charts. There was something so beautiful and so pure about it, and I love that sense. It was almost like watching one of the So You Think You Can Dance performances that just has the crowd like just crying. There's been no performance on ABDC like that, and I commend 8 Flavors for that. I commend Angel for going on with the show and showing how professional she can really be at the age of 12. That's phenomenal. That's impressive. Once again, my condolences. And honestly, I think they're going to get a save for this week or for next week just because of the extenuating circumstances. I mean, it's something I had to say. It's kind of like JC, but at the same time, it's something I commend them for. And it's literally nothing but love because while like I said, the choreo wasn't the most put together and the most hardest hitting choreo ever in the history of life, the passion was phenomenal. You could see them literally taking their hearts out of their chest and putting it on the stage. Next up, after that kind of heart-wrenching performance there, we have Collision Crew, who I'm completely surprised they're saved because I said they were going in the bottom and they're here. So, big up to Atlanta. Thank God for that. Anyway, they get over, and I'm excited about this performance. I really am because it's over. This is my favorite Drake song, and Collision Crew keeps getting. While they might not get the hardest hitting hits, they always get almost my favorite song from the artist, with the exception of Madonna Week. But I love Over, and they decide to take the challenge on. Riding through my car with my high beams on. That didn't sound like Drake at all, but anyway, and they take the car thing because of the whole Collision Crew thing, and just to let you know, there were Collision Crew before the crash, so stop thinking about that. The performance was alright. Was it the best performance in the world? No. Was the choreo way better than anything they've ever done? Yes. Were the stunts the best? Not really. Their first stunt where they threw my man over and then like flipped him back under. I've never seen that done before. Like they always do a great job of setting up the stunt and then like completely throwing us for a curve. I love it. It's amazing. I think they're the best at it because I never see their stunts coming. Like I really never do. The car didn't turn out all that good though. The car looked a little kind of weak and cartoonish. It was a little weak, but once again, the choreo was dope. I just don't think it was good enough for them to not be in the bottom, unfortunately, but you know, so be it. Electrolytes is next, and somebody mentioned this in the preview video that I got Electrolytes and Collision completely mixed up. And just to explain it, I did have Collision Crew doing headlines and Electrolytes doing over, and just didn't think it made any sense, so I switched them up and had Collision doing headlines and Electrolytes doing over. But Electrolytes end up getting headlines. Chris is back, y'all, so woo, right on. He did a great job. Like he led the charge and did a fine job of kind of killing it. Anyway, they take some line about flight or something like that, or floating, and they did two floating things. And a lot of people are gonna say they bit off the Jabberwockies thing, but let me tell you something. They did the Jabberwockies thing, yeah, but they had, I can't remember who was the member that did it, but they kind of had to do it going like topsy turvy, like he was like really doing a crappy job of flying. So I love that part, and the head thing was a little weak. I didn't like it, but performance in general, the stunts were good. Everything was good. The only problem I'm having with Electrolytes is I'm not really seeing kind of where they fall into things. I can kind of tell you things about every other crew except Electrolytes for some reason. There's nothing significant about their style. But that's neither here nor there. They still had a phenomenal performance. Let's get to the bottom two because my time is running out and we got to get to these two because this is definitely the battle of the season here. Fanny Pack is in the bottom, which is surprising to me because I thought they were safe for sure. I thought their merit would get them to I thought their merit was fine, and they're up against Step Boys, who I called last week. I knew they were going to be in the bottom, but what they had planned, I didn't have any clue. Fanny Pack gets Miss Me with Drake and Nicki Minaj. Once again, it's another song I like, but I kind of thought that Take Care was going to be their song. I thought they were going to get something a little more eccentric, and they get this one. Not Miss Me, whatever it's called. I'm Proud of You, that's what it's called. Anyway, they decided to take some, I love them because they're literally themselves. Like, I mean, my man Matt is kind of showing his gangster side that's really completely ungangster. But anyway, they take a line about treadmills and salad or something like that. But anyway, they do this whole Lady and the Tramp thing, and I guess they're putting their new members in the forefront. My man Shoei and my girl Natalie in the forefront, and I guess they're kind of going through this bad romance thing, and they got the whole Lady and the Tramp romantic dinner thing going on, and it actually works out. Only Fanny Pack would think about this, but this is the Fanny Pack that I needed to see. The zany, wacky, insane people that were just thinking right out of the box. The treadmill was actually really good. They kind of lifted Natalie up and had her running, and they like slid like Nat and I think Glinda and Kara like under him, and so it looked like a treadmill. It was really stupid, but it was still funny though. The choreo was the hardest hitting choreo they ever did. Like it was actually full of swag. And Fanny Pack and swag is not something I would say in the same sentence, but it was good. And Natalie and Shoei killed it. Like they smashed it. And Shoei never talks. I don't know if he speaks English or not, but he just never talks. And kind of stands in the corner and kind of mean mugs everything. But it was a great performance, and Natalie killed it as well. Step Boys, they get the death song. They get Best I Ever Had. So it's kind of a death song. You can kind of tell they're about to go. But they get the line, they take the line, repping like a mascot. Yeah, they go there. They end up putting my man Jarrell, I can't remember how to say it, but they end up putting him in a mascot suit. A big teddy bear suit with the Step Boys mustache, and the choreo, JC said the choreo was ABC, and Lil Mama said some crap about the choreo. This is the first time I actually have to disagree with both of them. I thought the choreo was actually impressive. Gerald had to be my MVP just because of the fact that my man is breakdancing in a mascot suit, a big giant teddy bear suit. I mean, even their Dougie was like, once again, swag. Like they actually had it today. They were actually funny. They did a fantastic job. I really hate the fact that the judges were so against them, and I think it's just because of the loyalty with Fanny Pack. But whatever, Step Boys end up going home. It was a hard battle. I think Step Boys did the best they could do. But anyway, I'm not going to do awards because I think everybody's pretty much on the same level. But bottom two, I'm actually, I think everybody has a reason to be in the bottom two. I know Collision's going to go in it. I'm going to make an educated guess. I'm actually going to say 8 Flavors because nobody sees it coming. But whatever the case, next week, J-Lo week, I am not looking forward to it because I just hate it. But big up to everybody. I will see y'all next week. Peace.